All right, everyone, this is going to be a mail call. I received these cards either the beginning of this week or late last week, so I didn't want to wait too long because you know me, I usually like to complete a build before I release a video, unless it's like a group build, then I would release like an update. But I'm partially, I would say maybe 85-90% done with a build, but I'll put a part one of the build because I also want to do these mail calls. So I got a shop card from Cliff, GI Mechanics, Scale Modeling. I always love his military influence on his shop cards and most of the things that he does. I'm going to include his link in the description. He does a lot of live streaming, and you might even catch him on him riding his import, what looks like a liquid cooled V-twin cruiser. I used to actually own a motorcycle, so I enjoy watching someone else enjoy riding because I no longer have one. He actually lives in the same state as I do, but I live on the southern tip because I live in Manhattan in the city. So I would think that he lives upstate somewhere. So I haven't really looked on a map to see how far he is. But anyway, Cliff, thank you for the shop card and the kind words. I know he does a lot of live streaming, and in general, usually I don't have time to really participate too much in live stream. Like I know Frank Frizzo, John Paul, and Cliff does a lot of live streaming. I think one time I did tune in and you guys were talking about WWE, Sergeant Slaughter, and all that stuff. The stuff that I like to watch when back in the 80s and 90s. But anyway, if you guys get a chance, check out his live streams. They're pretty cool. So check out Cliff at GI Mechanics Scale Modeling. I also received a card from Old Tom, Rambler 69. Beautiful Christmas card. I think that's the 32 Deuce Coupe, and the only reason why I know that is because I like the American Graffiti John Milner's 32 Deuce Coupe, and this looks very much like it. But other than that, I don't know the years of any other Fords made in the 1930s or even the 40s. But really cool card. I like the card theme with Santa Claus. So thanks again, Tom. Wish you guys a happy holidays as well. Hello, YouTube modelers. So we're going to be starting the Liberty Walk. The looks like the Nissan Z kit made by, is it Aoshima or Aoshima? So let's open it up and see what's inside. It's the first time I'm building a kit by this company. I hear good things about it. It should be detailed. Okay, so don't know whether I'll be building it like the box. This maroon color or brown. Instruction sheets. Everything separately packaged, which is nice, so it won't get scratched. R35 GTR or 350Z, I guess. Nice. Look at that detail. Interior. I like when everything's separately packaged so you don't lose the small ones and they don't get scratched. Clear. I'll open up the package so you will see it clearer. Look at those deep dish wheels. Interior. The rear. exhaust. Take a look at the instruction sheets. Pretty detailed. Alright, I'm gonna have to get a shop light because I do realize casting a shadow on my filming. I'll have to do this during the daytime. I like how the parts are laid out for you. Some portion is written in Japanese, so I don't know what it's saying. Looks like some kind of deal, or maybe you're missing a part or something. I don't know. Oh, parts list. So I don't know what this is for. Looks like some kind of cutout. Okay, so I'll be back after I take the parts out of the bag. Alright, so I finally have all the parts out of the bag. So let's take a look at everything. First, let's take a look at the box. So I don't have the same exact brown color, but I would have used dark gray, but I just came off a build using dark gray. So the trim will all be black, similar to the box, absence of chrome. The decals look like they're meant to be low contrast or low visibility. So I want to try to stick with a darker body color. So I'll probably try this one. Hopefully it'll be just a little lighter than gray. This metallic satin nickel, but who knows? You can't really judge by the cap. Hopefully it'll come out looking like gunmetal. So let's take a look at the chassis or undercarriage. I like how everything's flat, aerodynamic, so as not to disturb the air. You have the poly caps and tires, the wide low profile tires, make them resemble rubber bands. Clear glass, the headlights, tail lamps, other small probably indicator lights, smaller pieces. It's great that everything's separately wrapped, but it's probably not good for the environment. The brake rotors, you can see the vented holes. If it would focus. Yep. I don't know what these chrome pieces are, probably some kind of trim, who knows. These look like the calipers, the brake calipers. Go somewhere behind the wheel. More body panels. Radiators. Corner pieces for the spoiler probably. Front grille. Body kits. Wide deep dish wheels. The wheel spokes, I like how they're molded open so you can see the rotors and the brake calipers. One side's white, but I'm going to probably just top coat it with some clear black gloss. Red seats, probably be a combination of red, brown, and black. The chrome behind the wheel, behind the light I mean, chrome tips. look like the panels that go underneath. Some more brake calipers maybe. Exhaust. The hood and spoiler. Maybe the side body kits. I actually never heard of Libertywalk until I did some research on this kit, and they manufacture the body kits and they replace all them steel body with carbon fiber, but it's so high cost that it's basically the same cost as the car. So more of the flared fenders, the front and end caps, front, the rear, spoiler, probably the front, or actually the rear diffuser, so the air flow is smooth when it leaves the bottom of the car. Spoiler, front spoiler. What else have to show? Oh yeah, this looks like some kind of sticker or a decal. I don't know, I gotta look into it. Maybe that's to help you with the fret. I think it's called the fret, or where the block pieces are around the window. These are decals, really nice. I like the tire decals, Advan, raised white lettering, rising star decals. Again, I want that low visibility effect, so I'll have to choose a dark color as opposed to a lighter color. I actually give you two interiors. One's for, this looks like the, looking at the footrest, this is for the right side JDM, or Japanese market. Dashboard is on the right, pedals on the right, and then they include the US domestic, where the dash is on the left, pedals on the left. So you basically get pretty much a two interior tubs. Really nice. Chrome, some more chrome tips and pipes, so I have to look into it. Probably to give you multiple parts depending on the version you want to build. Another hood, body nice and clean. I do have to trim the body a little bit around the wheel. Over here is the grayed out area. That's where I'm supposed to cut, because this is a Libertywalk version, so those big beefy tires will have to fit in there. I think that's about all the parts. So the decals. So that's pretty much it. From here I'll probably just wash the parts with a dish detergent to degrease it from the releasing agent, and then splash some paint on. So here's the box of all the parts I will not be using. I packaged them back in plastic, and then these are the parts that I will be using. Looks like I will be building the right-hand drive after all, because the instructions does tell me to not use the left-hand one. I guess I could use if I wanted to, but this will be different. So they've been washed, waiting for them to dry. These parts will also be used, but this is the box of the parts I will not be using. Alright, so this is an update. I am probably a little more than halfway done, so I'll just show you the sub-assemblies. So I finished with the chassis. I put these pans on, the bottom pans, the rear pan, the front pan. I actually painted some of the, if you can see the blue, like some of the subframes and some of the stabilizer bars like pink, because I know some of these Japanese cars, some of the younger crowd likes the bright neon colors. So I actually painted some of them in these bright neon colors, but then it got covered up anyway. So don't know if you can see it, But anyway, so I just painted the bottom. Not much to the I mean, on second thought, I should have painted the calipers yellow because I just realized the decals are in red. So red on top of red is not going to show. And also, this is the first time I've built these cars that have such extreme negative camber. So the tires, looking at it from the side, is not rectangular. They're actually trapezoid because they have an extreme negative camber on them. The interior, the two front seats came in red, so I might as well match the rear seats by painting them red. But I got a little reaction to the flat matte finish, but that's fine because they're in the back, so no one can really quite see it. And it kind of looks like the seat is fatigued or it's been sat on. Highlighted the speakers, the right-hand drive, so there you go. Put the decals. All right, so that's that. Body actually came out pretty good. I used this one, the metallic satin nickel. The paint is a little bit on the runny side. It's very thin, so when you spray, you can't spray too much or else it starts to run. But I have to say, when you spray it, the metallic finish kind of comes out like satin, so it's not as bright. So it comes out like that, like a dull look. And then when you buff it or polish it, it comes out shiny. So what I did was I ended up polishing it because I did want a factory shiny look. So the pro of using satin is because of the metallic texture is very forgiving, so it can hide a lot of blemishes. And because it's grainy, it's not like a deep, rich purple or black texture that you can see the depth and see every imperfection. So that's why this was actually a pleasure to use the metallic satin nickel, because it hides a lot of things. But when you buff it to make it a shiny, you start to see some flaws. So I made sure I didn't polish it too much. But the car body came out pretty good, and of course now the hood, it doesn't come out that good. There's like 3 dust dots or something that appeared. You see it? So I have to wet sand it, and I have to spray it again. There's no way I can buff that out. So there's like 4 of those dots that came up. I don't know how. I'm having a little trouble with the hood. The hood came out perfect the first time, then the body came out not so good, and then after the second or third coat, the body is perfect, and now the hood is giving me problems. Because I think I sprayed a little too much on the hood, so yeah, I have to spray a thinner coat. Because this is very watery, this metallic satin nickel. And of course, on metallic, when it starts to run, you get a high concentration of those metallic flakes in one area. So I'll have to respray that. Spoiler, I polished it, so the black is kind of consistent now, although there's like some nubs that stick up, but that's fine. The thin spars, they broke on me, so I had to glue it again. So let me mock it up by piecing it together so you get a rough idea of what it looks like. Alright, so I loosely placed the body onto the frame. There are slots for you to stick the tab from the chassis onto the body, but what happens is on this Libertywalk, they actually want the car really slammed to the ground, so the tire is actually supposed to tuck in to these fender flares. But that prevented the wheels from moving, because I think if I had to do it again, I would glue these fender flares even higher up so that they would clear the tire, but they want the tires to tuck in. So, so for example, this one, maybe I could have moved it up to match the body up here. Maybe push it up a little bit higher up. But anyway, I think I'm going to glue the body above the tab as opposed to slipping it into the slot, because I don't want it to be too low. I think this is the way I want it to sit. That way the wheels will be able to move like that. If I drop it any lower, the tires, I think, are going to rub against the body, and I can't really shave the flare, fender flare anymore. So that's what it looks like, a mock-up. So I have to respray the hood, paint the front black, and then start putting on the decals. And then I'll probably spray a clear coat over it. So that's what it looks like so far. Alright guys, so this kit actually comes with the hood and it opens on the body, but for some reason does not come with an engine, and I think that's probably one of the biggest gripes I have about this Aoshima kit, is they give you a lot of spare parts for left-hand drive, different body panels, because I guess they also sell the base R35 kit or 350Z kit, and then the Libertywalk is just additional panels and everything. But with a curbside kit, I mean, they gave me opening hood but no engine. So what I did was I got on Etsy, and the only engine that was half decent for my purpose was an engine that was a one-piece resin. It is an RB26DETT, because the Japanese engines use code, so it's basically the predecessor engine to this R35. It's a 2.6 inline 6 they used on the predecessor of this kit in the Nissan Skyline R32 to R34. So I was trying to find a VR38 DETT, which is basically a V6 3.8 liter twin turbocharge, but it was either too expensive, not available, or it was hard to find, so I just opted for this. It's one-piece resin. It's not bad detail for a one-piece resin. I would have liked it if it was a kit form, even if it was only like 10 or 12 pieces. So it doesn't quite fit perfectly. I'll probably have to cut the shifter off to slip it underneath the transmission tunnel, and then the turbochargers protrude a little too far, so I have to do a little bit of rerouting or surgery on this engine to make it fit. But the whole idea was to spend just a little bit of money to have something in there that resembles the Nissan engine. So it does say Nissan. If it would focus, there it goes. So I want to make sure it stands out, so when you open up the hood, it does look like it somewhat belongs in there, even though it is the engine to the predecessor and not the correct engine. But Fujimi, I think, makes a R35 that comes with the engine. And they do sell separate kits, but they were either, like I said, too expensive or not available. I think if you go to like those specialty hobby shops like Hero Boy in Japan, or maybe some shops in the UK, they may sell them, but they were either unavailable or they were pretty expensive, like 40 or 50 bucks. Or I could kit bash and buy a Fujimi, but then what am I going to do with the extra R35? So I opted to buy just a resin kit. I think this on Etsy cost me like close to 30. Still a little cheaper than 40 or 50 if I was buying a whole new kit. But just something to have under the hood. So I'm going to do some surgery to make it fit. But that's the story on the engine compartment. I'll see if I can use some spare pieces and build like a firewall or something in the engine compartment. Okay, I'll be back. Alrighty, so I'm almost done, but I had to redo the hood, so it's sitting in the purple pond, or purple power. Hopefully it works. The underneath the hood, the paint came off pretty easy because I didn't prime it before, and I didn't put a clear coat over it. But the top is taking a little bit longer because it is primed, painted, and then has a clear coat on top of it. The interior is done. It's been done for a while. I'm thinking about ordering seat belts for it, like a 5 or 6 point harness. So I may not glue everything together, but because I'm raising the body to clear the wheels from the flares, you even noticed I even cut into the wheel well so the wheels can spin more freely. See, I even cut over here. So the engine is painted. I should have used a toothpick before, but I tried to use a brush and it got a little bit messy, so Nissan did not come out as clear as I wanted it to. Had a little touch up, you can see, but I glued the turbochargers back in. I had to really jam it in. I think in real life the R35 does have a very tight engine compartment, because I've seen some pictures and it looks really like shoehorned in with all the tubing and plumbing. So also the interior sits on top of the chassis, unlike some AMT or Revell kits where you put glue on the top, I mean on the back and front, and it glues to the body. It actually is supported by the chassis, so I actually use some injection pins and I raise the height of the mounting point, because if I don't, then when I raise the body and the interior stays low, then you get a weird gap. So the body is done, but I use this crazy glue and this is great so far. I love that it has a brush and a nozzle, unlike the original super glues from Japan that you use it once and then the tip would dry out on you. I did such a good job polishing it that when I put these I don't know what they're called, the front on the side, these spoilers, they slid right off the body. So basically it's a little smear on it, so it's not as great as I would have wanted it. You can see a little bit of the crazy glue smear because I put it on and the body was so smooth it just like rode on top of it like hydroplaning. But it's glued on now. The glass is in. I still have to glue the spoiler. It just friction fitted. So let me put the camera down and I'll piece it together so you can see what it looks like so far. But I still have to put in like the side reflector and I think the indicator lights. And of course I have to decide what I want to do with the seat belt, and then I have to wait for the hood. Oh, almost forgot to show you where I raised the height of the so if you see, I had to raise, you see the original holes on the bottom, and then I added that piece of plastic and I had to re-slot it so the holes would be lower on the body, so thus raising the body. Same thing over here. You see where I prefabbed it? Right where that line is, that's why I added that hole. So really front and back only has 2 slots, but I put in 2 additional slots below it, thus raising the body when it mates with the so there it is. Okay, let me loosely assemble it. Okay, so here is everything put together. There's the engine. Of course, I'm still working on the hood. I also prefabbed a weird looking bar. I know it doesn't quite resemble the real thing, but it's something to put as a front shock tower brace to prevent the front from flexing, especially during hard cornering. So I was going to do it something like this. Usually it goes flat across, but the engine bulges out. This engine is not really custom made for this kit, so I was thinking about something like this. But this is what it looks like, mocked up. I really can't glue it together yet because I might put in the seat belts, whether it be decal or photo etch. And there is a little bit of a gap because I raised the body off. The pipes should be really tucked in under there a little neater, but that's what it looks like so far. All right, I'll be back.